All right, back at Harmon Field, getting ready to start the 8th grade game between the Woodland Colts and the George Wranglers. Woodland comes into this game tonight 7-1. Their only loss of the year was a few weeks back to Grimsley. They had a big win last week over Kirksey and Rogers. Of course, had a hard-fought win a couple of weeks ago over Fulbright up in Bentonville. This is their first game here at home since that Grimsley game 3 weeks ago. It's only the second time that they played here in the last 5 weeks.
Seems like forever since we've been here on a Thursday night. Well, and we think there's a scenario where if they win tonight, they can be in the championship, but we're trying to get that confirmed.
Yeah. Potentially in a third-place game, too, next week. We think they're going to play next week. Again, we don't know. It's kind of hard getting information on these 8th grade teams just because don't want to say there's not a lot of coordination, because I think there is coordination.
Yes.
There's just not a lot of publicity.
No.
Casey Dick, the Fayetteville High School head coach, is out here tonight, standing on the Woodland sideline. For a lot of these players, they're going to be on his JV team next year.
Yeah. Wearing that.
Or his freshman team, at least.
Yep.
One of the freshman teams. So where the freshman white and freshman purple game had to get delayed this week because it was too cold to play.
Oh, man.
Of course, cold, rainy conditions all week.
Oh, it's
Really-
miserable.
Yeah, it really didn't end until about 4 hours ago.
Yeah, I was beginning to wonder if we were going to be able to play tonight. Get that
It's
weather out
cold.
of here.
It is a very cold night. Of course, it'll get colder as the game goes along. Don't know by how much, but
Just glad the rain stopped. That'd been miserable.
it's 44 degrees and it feels like 40. And the opening kickoff goes out of bounds. It'll only cost them a yard because it went out at the 34, and they'll place it at the 35-yard line.
You know, that's really not much of a deterrent to not kick it out of bounds.
Yeah.
Kind of using the Mike Vrabel approach of using the rules to your advantage.
I guess I should say that it's a 5-yard penalty from where the ball went out, so
Okay.
it's at the 39 is where they will start. George won the toss, and they elected to receive. And Blair, they're a pretty big team.
They are.
At least physically, they get across the 40 on first down. Not a lot there on the tackle that time for Woodland was Reed Slankard.
Be interesting to see what kind of offensive scheme they have. We saw what this 7th grade team from Kelly ran.
Alexis Ramirez is the quarterback for George on that first play. It was a direct snap. And now they bring their quarterback into the game. It's Jack Pounders. Pounders wears number 3. Takes the snap low on second down, gives it to Ramirez, and he's got a first down out to midfield to the Woodland 49-yard line.
Well, their line opened a big hole up the middle.
First down, Wrangler.
They take their time on offense.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the Woodland 49.
See the full moon peeking up above the light standard across the way.
Here's a give to Ramirez, and he's going to take some Woodland defenders with him all the way up to the 42-yard line. He runs hard. Several Colts in on the tackle that time. Holzhauer, Patterson also in on the tackle.
Yeah, unfortunately, they got him from behind, so he was able to keep moving forward and drag that pile and move the stick.
2nd down and 3. Pounders, the quarterback. And they're going to give to Ramirez until it doesn't work, and it's working right now. A first down out to the 35. 7 more for Ramirez. Tidwell on the tackle that time for Woodland.
just kind of running a little trap with the offensive lineman, and it's just creating that space right up the middle. Their running back can run through.
We mentioned they've got a big offensive line.
Pretty agile, too.
And another big run across the 25, out across the 20, and they'll mark him down at the 20. That time it was, well, who was it? Blair, I don't have a number 9 on my roster.
Yeah, there's not a 9 on the roster the coach sent us this morning, so it's that dreaded mystery player.
I think it might have been Josh Malakara, who's listed as number 10. And here's Ramirez again with another nice run down to the 15. Be second down and 5.
They're pulling the guard from the opposite side to come across and blast through that hole and create that opening. In essence, he becomes kind of like a fullback, a lead blocker for the running back.
It'll be second down and 5, and kind of like Kelly in the first game, they're taking a lot of time off the clock. 4:50 to play, first quarter. And the run left side is Malakara again. No gain, it'll be third down.
First time they really tried to run to the boundary. Colts able to shut that down.
Third down, give us to Ramirez, and he's hitting the backfield. Did well on the tackle. Patterson came in to finish him off. And now it'll be fourth down for George, and it's decision time. You got to believe they'll probably go for it here.
Yeah.
It'll be fourth down and about 7 yards.
They've yet to attempt to pass. They had everybody spread out that time, hoping they might get the Colts to spread it out defensively, but the guys up front made the stop.
Pounders on fourth down. Looks to pass for the first time. Woodland brings the pressure, throws toward the end zone, and that pass is incomplete. It was deflected by a Woodland defender. I couldn't tell who. Maybe Holzhauer. I said he threw to the end zone. He had a receiver in the end zone. I don't know if he saw him, Blair, because he checked down and threw it underneath at the last second.
Yeah, I don't think he did see him, Matt. And that's a tough throw too when you're going to your left and you're right-handed quarterback and you're trying to throw across your body. Tough to get anything on it.
Woodland holds on downs after the long drive by George, and it'll take over first down at its own 17-yard line with 3:31 to play in the first quarter. Landon Schaefer is the quarterback. He'll bring a man in motion. Schaefer is going to give it to Xavier Burns. Burns breaks the tackle, breaks outside. He's at the 20. He's at the 25. Look at him go at the 30. Burns trying to tiptoe down the sideline. It'll be knocked out of bounds across the 40 at the 43-yard line. Really nice run, though, that time by Burns. 26 yards and a first down.
What a great cut, too, after he went up the middle. Cut to his left. For a moment, it looked like he was going to take it to the house. Good block downfield by the receivers as well.
Schaefer with Burns behind him. They'll bring a player in motion. They give it to Burns again up the middle. Bounces to his right. Ooh, taken down from behind. He's okay, but that didn't look too good.
No, you always wince when you see somebody go down like that.
Yep.
He'll come out just to be safe.
2-yard gain, second down and 8. Patterson comes in at tailback. Of course, Dawson Birmingham is out for Woodland. He's on the sideline tonight. Good to see him out there. Was injured in a game up in Bentonville a few weeks back.
Just so many weapons on this Colt offense.
Second down, it's a run all the way by Schaefer. He's got some room across midfield. Schaefer's at the 40. Look at him go at the 30. Schaefer's going to score at the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Woodland. Wow.
I don't know I've ever seen him go that fast. That
He's
was
been
quick.
running really well the last few weeks. That time 55 yards for the score, and the Colts have gone ahead with 2:28 to play in the first quarter.
I can imagine the Wranglers weren't expecting that. Man, he hit that line fat. I mean, he was gone before they even really knew what had happened. Great run. Great blocking, too.
And Novice's extra point is good. And so with 2:28 to play in the first quarter, our score is Woodland 7, George nothing. This is Woodland Football presented by Freedom 5-1 and Eagle Bank Mortgage. Back at Harmon Field, where Woodland leads George 7-0 after a 55-yard touchdown run by Landon Schaefer. Alex Novice on to kick this ball away.
That might have been Landon's most impressive run of the year, and he's had some mighty impressive ones.
George will recover a squib kick at the 38-yard line, and it'll be first down there. We don't know what all Fayetteville has in the pipeline, and I'm talking about in terms of the high school team. Of course, you got to keep in mind that what we don't see on Friday nights, you've got a couple of freshman teams, you have a JV team, we've got the Woodland games, of course, what goes on over at Rainey, but it's hard for me to imagine that there are any better quarterback prospects in the pipeline than Landon Schaefer.
No. I think easily he's the best quarterback we've seen this year.
Ramirez with a good run, 7 yards to the 45, second down and 3.
Can throw, can run, can play defense, can pretty much do it all.
Ramirez again up the middle. He'll be short of the first down after a gain of a couple. Holzhauer on the tackle again for Woodland. He's having an eventful first couple of series.
His lineman just kind of quit blocking.
Third down and 1. And the thing about Schaefer is that he has run the ball a lot the last few weeks, but we've seen him pass it fairly well.
Yes. Very accurate. Good arm. He's just going to get better and better.
And that's a short run, but for a first down out to the 49, and that'll move the chains.
So Navarra is number 9. He's got a different roster than the one we got from the coach this morning.
Alexander Ibarra is who they are crediting those runs with at number 9. And, of course, we told you that he's not listed on the George roster. First down from the 49. They will give it to Ramirez, bouncing right side. He's going to be taken down to the backfield. What a great play that time by Holzhauer.
Indeed.
Landon Holzhauer is having an incredible first quarter for this Woodland defense. I think he's been in on, gosh, Blair, all but maybe a couple or 3 tackles.
Oh, yes.
Been on every tackle on this drive. George doesn't have to take another snap in this quarter if it doesn't want to, but the Wranglers look like they do want to get at least one more off. They will go play action, and now the quarterback powders, keeps it himself. Guess who? Landon Holzhauer. No, I'm sorry, that's Landon Schaefer. Schaefer came through and made a big hit. Well, if your name is Landon, you're having a great game tonight for Woodland. Holzhauer and Schaefer are the players of the quarter, and Woodland leads George 7-0 at the end of one. This is Woodland Football, presented by Freedom 5-1 and Eagle Bank Mortgage. Third down and long for George. 3rd and 16 as we start the second quarter. Landon Schaefer with a big tackle behind the line of scrimmage on the second down play just a moment ago. They give it to Ramirez running right side. He's not going to get anything. Another lost yardage play on the tackle that time for the Colts was Julian Stafford. Another loss of a yard, and it'll be 4th down. And you got to believe that George is going to punt it here.
Credit to the Woodland coaching staff. They saw what they did in the opening drive, have made their adjustment, and it is just shut down this Wrangler offense.
Josh Malakara is standing back deep. Graves deep, also Schaefer deep for Woodland. It's a short kick. Graves comes up, tries to field it, and he fumbles, and George falls on it. Oh, man. Well, that was a big play.
Yeah, just never had it.
Yair Ponce on the recovery that time for George.
Yeah, he was just standing right next to him. Might have been one of those cases where you try to start running a little too soon.
It almost looked like he overran the football when he went up to catch it, and the ball was behind him when he got there. Ramirez on the direct snap. Nice run across the 35, pushing players forward to the 33, and it'll be 2nd down and 5. Graves has made a lot of really nice plays this year for the Colts, and Blair, I think sometimes you can make so many spectacular plays that you feel like you can make every play.
Yeah.
And I'm not so sure that it wouldn't have been more beneficial for Woodland there just to let the ball bounce and
that, or maybe call a fair catch.
yeah. Here's the run. Alexander Ibarra just got a 1st down out to the 27-yard line.
Ibarra stopped by Hayden Bowerman and Jack Kessner.
Bowerman and Kessner on the tackle that time for the Colts. Clock moving, 6:09 to play before halftime. Woodland leading 7-0.
You see Pounders over there on the sideline talking to Coach Robert Johnson. And it's a lengthy discussion.
First down. Ramirez will take a direct snap again, and then he runs into a wall of Woodland defenders. It was Terry who took him down after a gain of 2 to the 25. And just in case you're wondering, as I was earlier, Robert Johnson is not the former Razorback quarterback who Casey Dick took a starting job away from.
Yeah.
Although that would be pretty ironic if that were the case.
Yeah. Well, once again, Pounders is going to go line up on the left side.
They like this direct snap. They're having some success with it. This time it's Ibarra, the big back, kind of bowling over some defenders and gets down to the 21. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
And I think the big back like that is going to make more yards in that kind of situation just because they get that bigger head of steam. They can move the pile a little more than a little guy. Kind of like when Arkansas ran the Wildcat with Kiero Small. You knew what was coming. It was just a question of which side.
Yeah.
Of course, different from the DMAC Felix Jones Wildcat where you had the man in motion and the threat of a pass.
3rd down and 4. Direct snap again. Ibarra again. Running right side, and he's got a 1st down, maybe more across the 15. There he keeps going across the 10.
Goodness.
And it's going to be 1st down and goal for George at the 4-yard line. Guevara.
Woodland stacked the middle that time, and he saw that the right side was pretty open, and that's where he went and made a lot further than what it was originally looking like he was going to get.
They marked him out at the 3, so it'll be a gain of 18. 1st and goal. 3:49 to play before halftime. Woodland trying to hang on to a 7-0 lead.
Well, I imagine they're just going to keep doing that until Woodland stops it or they get in the end zone.
Yeah, they're going to do it again here. Guevara and Ramirez are the running backs. Guevara will take the direct snap, starts up the middle, runs right, and he's in. Touchdown, George. Or no, they said the ball came out, Blair. Woodland came away with it. What's the call on the field?
Well, this far side judge signaled touchdown, and then
But he also threw his beanbag,
Yeah,
which
and
is very interesting to me.
It's
a touchback. It's a
Okay.
touchback. Woodland's got it, and it's a touchback.
Yeah, the other side judge was waving his hands like no.
The George coaches are really upset. I didn't see the ball come out. It looked to me from our seat. Now, granted, we're quite a ways away from where he crossed the goal line. It looked to me like he got in with it. But the beanbag did come out at the 3-yard line.
Yeah.
Which makes me tend to think that he may have lost the ball right as he was bringing it in.
Well, and I understand where they're coming from because this one side, the left side judge who was further away is the one who signaled touchdown, whereas the linesman who was looking down the goal line never did. He was waving his hands as if.
And he's the one who threw the
fumble.
beanbag.
Yeah,
too.
he had a fumble, so you had two officials making different calls.
We're talking with the George coaching staff, and I guess they give their explanation, and Woodland's got the football.
Well, that was just unusual, too, because the guy signaling touchdown, I don't know how he even had a clean look at it. But thankfully it's the Colts' ball, no touchdown.
And they're still having a discussion.
Yeah.
This is the second time the head referee has gone over to the George sideline and had a discussion with the coaching staff.
Well, and as an official, that's not a fun conversation to have. But the call's been made. We're moving forward.
Yeah, 1st down. Schaefer is the quarterback from the Woodland 20-yard line. Takes it, gives it to Terry, running right side. Terry gets across the 30, breaks a tackle at the 35, and there he goes at midfield. Say bye-bye. Terry at the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Woodland. 80 yards. Tyree Terry gets a chance to show off his speed, and we like to see it every time he can.
Wow, what a run. That was all Tyree on that one. That was incredible.
I feel like we talk about this every broadcast, Blair, but he has the ability to cut up the field quicker than most of the players we see at this level.
Oh, yes. And that's something you can't coach. Either you have or don't have, and he is blessed with that skill.
This extra point is no good, and so with 3:06 to play before halftime, the score is Woodland 13, George nothing. This is Woodland football presented by Freedom 5-1 and Eagle Bank Mortgage. 3:06 to play before halftime. Woodland leads George 13-0 after an 80-yard touchdown run by Terry. That was Terry's first carry of the game.
What a swing of events.
Yeah. Now, he has played on defense. In fact, he had a tackle for a loss earlier. This is almost like an onside kick,
Yes.
but it'll be picked up by George at the 38 and returned for no gain.
Landon Schaefer in on the tackle. Good special teams coverage, too, that time.
So we talked about what Fayetteville has in the pipeline. I got to believe that there's going to be a role for Terry
Yes.
on the offense at some point in time for the high school team.
We saw.
And it amazes me that they've got 4 of them
Yeah.
at Woodland.
And Ramey's got some
Yeah.
depth, too. So, yeah, it bodes very well for the Purple Dogs.
Ramirez runs right side, and Terry takes him down behind the line of scrimmage back at the 37-yard line.
Well, it's got to be a little bit demoralizing for the Wranglers. Fumble for the touchback and then immediate 80-yard touchdown run the other way.
Yeah, they thought they had tied the game or at least gotten within an extra point of tying the game, and now all of a sudden they're down by 13. Now it seems like they're kind of taking their time. Pounders rolls right, pass is caught, but not much there out to the 40-yard line. Luke Robley on the tackle for the Colts. And now it's 3rd and long. Yair Ponce on the tackle, and Woodland's going to take its first time out with 1:45 to play before halftime. Gives us a chance to say thank you to our sponsors, Centennial Bank, Mellow Mushroom, and the Bank of Fayetteville. They're all sponsoring tonight's broadcast. Also, the Woodland Booster Club would like to say thank you to the Spirit Moms tonight, Meredith Garman, Allison Slankard, Christy Plummer, and Sarah Kilpatrick.
Dana Bourne and Eaglebeck Mortgage, proud supporters of this season of Woodland Colts football. Be sure to call Dana Bourne for all your mortgage needs. NMLS 19384, equal housing lender. And Freedom 51, transforming the financial destinies of families with financial life coaching. Chris and Tim encourage you to visit their website, freedom51.com, or visit their page on Facebook at Freedom 51. A lot of folks didn't think we'd get this far in the season. I'm not sure I did, but
I had my doubts,
Glad.
especially a few weeks before. But you got to give credit to these high school teams. They've done and junior high teams too. They've done a pretty good job of navigating through this season.
yep. Credit to the coaches who've had to go the extra steps to keep everything safe.
3rd down, they throw right side. Pass is caught. Ponce across the 45, and he's got a first down, I think. Terry rolled him out of bounds, but not till he got to the 48-yard line.
Pretty good moves after he got the ball to elude some Colts and pick up that first down.
The other thing that we've seen for the most part, Blair, has been parents compliant with the regulations that have been put before them to attend these games. You look down in the stands and, pretty good distancing.
Yep.
In between the different parties.
Yeah, everybody working together to allow the games to continue.
First down for George from its 49-yard line. Pounders being pressured from behind by Stafford. Throws and the pass is incomplete. Schaefer got a paw on it. Clock stops on the incompletion with 1:29 before the halftime.
Yeah, and talking with a lot of coaches before everything started, I mean, it got to the point where you really felt like school and athletic facilities were the safest places to be because of all the protocols in place.
Yeah. 2nd and 10. George at its 49-yard line. 2 receivers to the left side. Pounders with 2 backs in the backfield. Throwing left. Quick pass is incomplete. He was looking for Ponce. Mathis Brady on the coverage for Woodland, and now it's third down.
Just overthrew him. Hey, congratulations to Jessica Phelan and the Volley Dogs. They are going to play for a state title on Halloween against Fort Smith Southside.
And they just beat Southside, what, about a week ago?
Yeah, conference tournament championship game, 3-0. So
that game's on Halloween, not tomorrow.
did I say tomorrow? I meant to say Halloween.
You said Halloween. You said Halloween,
Okay.
yeah.
Down in got to go all the way to Hot Springs to play a team from Fort Smith.
Yeah, how about that?
Oh, no, we jumped.
Offside penalty against Woodland. It'll make it a third down and 5.
But that's part of the experience, getting to go to Hot Springs.
I have never really understood that, though. I mean, I think about all the times that Bentonville and Fayetteville played in a state championship game, and they had to go down to Little Rock to play. And I understand that there's this. I really don't understand it, to be honest with you.
Well,
I mean,
given all the circumstances of COVID and everything, yeah.
Yeah, that does seem a little odd where, you know,
Limited
they could play.
fans.
I think what bothers me the most about having to, as George takes a timeout, we'll stay right here with a minute 26 to play before halftime. I think what bothers me the most about that is that, let's take Fayetteville and Southside volleyball team for an example. The people who want to go see that game, they're going to go down to Hot Springs and watch it.
Yeah.
But you got a place here in Fayetteville, Barnhill Arena. You got a place in Fort Smith, the Stubblefield Center, or the high school gyms are just as good.
Which would be available. You don't know necessarily
Right.
if the other two would be. Well,
or even the football, maybe even more for football because
Yeah.
it attracts more just casual fans, I think, than some of the other sports do.
Yeah.
If let's say you've got Fayetteville and Bentonville, or some of the other matchups, Fayetteville and Harbor that we've seen, Bentonville and Southside, you play those up here in Fayetteville,
Yeah.
you might get 13 to 20,000 people who just kind of come out because it's like, hey, we got a big football game in town this afternoon.
True.
And you get the casual fans, as opposed to Little Rock, the people who are going to make that trip are, much, much smaller numbers.
Well, yeah.
And I feel like the AAA is really hurting itself by forcing everything to be played at these neutral sites, these set neutral sites in advance. Short gain here for George, and it won't be for a first down. That was Alexander Guevara. And now it'll be fourth down. Tyree Terry on the tackle for Woodland.
Woodland's going to take a timeout. Well, along those lines, Hot Springs not the easiest place to get to from the northwest part of the state.
About a 3.5 hour drive from Hot Springs
from
here.
Fort Smith or from Fayetteville. And obviously it's not going to be at capacity because of COVID. So
a little bit different this year with the COVID restrictions, but I'm just talking about in a normal time.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing about football too is it's televised on PBS, whereas volleyball is not.
You get into some of these surrounding states, and they do a great job, whether it be – now, of course, Texas plays all of its state championship games at AT&T Stadium, and I don't think anybody's comparing AT&T Stadium and War Memorial Stadium. Little bit different. Little bit different scenario there. But like Oklahoma, I think, does a really nice job. They pick their championship site based on the two teams that are playing. Now, a lot of times it's two Tulsa teams, and so you end up playing games in Tulsa or maybe over in Stillwater.
Yeah.
Flag comes out, and that's a false start penalty against George. It'll be fourth down.
Yeah, they try to find a spot that's convenient for both. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I guess the thought in Arkansas is, well, I think they're pretty much committed to Hot Springs for.
They're committed to Hot Springs for volleyball and basketball. They're committed to War Memorial for football, and I don't see it changing anytime soon.
No, and
but I do think
here
that
for soccer and baseball and softball.
But just to finish the thought, I think they do hurt themselves with casual fans.
No, I would agree.
By not finding more common ground type sites. It'll be fourth down and 7 yards for George. Whenever they take the snap, it seems like we've had about 2 timeouts and a couple of penalties since we had the last snap.
Well, Woodland would like to get the ball back, and as we've seen, a minute is nothing. For that
Give
offense.
it to Tyree Terry. He can run the length of the field.
Or
about
Schaefer
10
can
seconds.
run, or or throw it, or I mean, they just have so many ways
2 long touchdowns in this game for Woodland, a 55-yard touchdown run by Landon Schaefer and an 80-yard touchdown run by Tyree Terry.
And maybe that's the thing that separates Woodland from most of the teams we've seen is they can bust that big play, but it's not just one guy. It's, there's 5 or 6 that can make that big play, which is rare at this age. Well, I would be shocked if they throw it here.
Pounders is the quarterback. He's got 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, and he's got a tailback on each shoulder. He is going to throw. Pounders has to get rid of it, and it is caught.
Wow.
First down.
Credit to them.
He was leveled by Terry coming up the middle, but Ponce was able to bring it in at the 35-yard line. That was a really big throw. Really, really nice throw.
It was. The Colts had kind of stacked the middle.
13-yard gain on 4th down and 7.
Good throw. I mean, he knew he was going to get leveled.
Talks about the intangibles that Terry shows on those cuts. You don't see a whole lot of quarterbacks at this level who are going to stand in there and take that kind of hit and make that kind of throw.
True.
Pounders on 1st down from the 35. Woodland brings the blitz again, throws, passes behind Ponce, but he's able to bring it in at the 30. And now he's pulling some defenders forward. He's going to be near the 1st down marker, maybe a yard shy. And now George has got to start thinking about its timeouts as the clock runs. 31 seconds to play before halftime.
I'm surprised they didn't take one there.
They're huddling up real fast. 2nd and 1 from the 26. Clock continues to run.
Wow.
Under 20 seconds to play in the half. They take the snap at 16 seconds, throw right side, and the pass is incomplete. That'll stop the clock with 11 seconds to play in the first half. Clock continues to run.
Yeah,
they're going to have to.
right.
They've got to reset the clock here as it finally stops at 4 seconds.
12.
Daxton Tesmer was on the coverage that time. The pass was intended for Anthony Gates.
14, is that what they're going to put on there? They're trying to alert the.
I think they're saying 13.
Okay, 13.
Which I think is actually generous because it looked to me like there were 11 seconds left whenever the clock stopped or whenever the pass was incomplete.
I thought it was 14, but either way, I mean, even if they completed that, kind of dangerous to run a crossing pattern there.
It's 3rd down and 1. They've got to get to the 25 to move the chains. They do have timeouts. And they'll just run it. Ramirez up the middle, gets down. Smart play there by Ramirez to get the 1st down and get down quickly.
Yeah, save some time.
That only took 3 seconds off the clock. Slankered on the tackle. And it'll be 1st down from the 23. George takes its timeout.
So, not sure how many more timeouts they have. Was that their first?
I think that was their first, yeah.
Okay, so they'll have 2 more, but maybe 2 plays, depending on what happens here. You need you got to have your quarterback kind of have a clock in his head, and if nothing's open, throw it away quickly. And if you're Woodland, you'd love to get back there and force him to scramble a little bit and eat some more clock. And who knows, maybe he makes an errant pass, you can pick one off and take it to the house.
George comes out with 2 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. Ramirez and Guevara stand to either side of Pounders, the quarterback. Pounders being pressured, and he just has to throw it into the turf. That may be intentional grounding.
I was going to say, was he out of between the tackles? It was close.
I think they're going to say there was a receiver in the area.
Might be a little generous, but
Clock stopped with 7 seconds to play in the half. It will be 2nd down and 10 from the 23. One, maybe 2 plays left here for George. Feels like a big sequence in this game. Pounders, low snap. Woodland bringing pressure up the middle again. Pounders just has to get rid of it again, and this time there were
That's
no
got to be
receivers.
grounding. That's yeah.
And
there's
the flag. Yeah.
Yeah, there was nobody.
There were 3 or 4 Woodland players closer to the ball than anybody
Yeah.
from George.
Flags on the play. Intentional grounding.
So it is intentional grounding.
Wranglers.
And that'll move George back to the 34-yard line. And there's time for one more play. 2 seconds to play in the quarter. If Woodland can hold George out of the end zone here, it'll take a 13-0 lead to the halftime.
Those 6 yards could be really big here.
Got to believe Woodland's going to bring everybody up the middle again. They
Yep.
sure are. They're having a lot of success on that, and he just has to throw it away.
And
that's going to be the final play of the first half. I think it would have been intentional grounding, Blair, but
should have been, but they're just going to let the half end.
What's the point of throwing a flag?
Yeah,
When it's not going to make
mean
a
anything.
difference on the next play. Woodland, with a couple of long touchdown runs by Landon Schaefer and Tyree Terry, will take a 13-0 lead to the locker room. This Woodland defense continues to play really, really well this season. Nearly pitched a shutout last week. They've pitched a few of them this year, and they are on their way to potentially doing it right now.
Yep.
Getting up 13-0 over George.
Forced that fumble down at the goal line, and that's really kind of what turned this whole game around.
Halftime, we'll let you watch the dance routines here from the Woodland cheerleaders and dance team. Again, it's Woodland 13, George nothing. This is Woodland football presented by Freedom 5-1 and Eagle Bank Mortgage. George will kick it off to start the second half. Xavier Burns back deep for Fayetteville, also Charlie Graves. The Colts, for Woodland. Burns and Graves back deep. The Colts lead 13-0.
Well, they are the Fayetteville team, so it's okay.
They are the Fayetteville team in this game, yes. Just so used to being here in Harmon.
Yeah.
See the big purple bulldog in the middle of the field.
Yeah. Field still looks phenomenal, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it
Still,
really does.
I mean, it's
an onside kick, and it hits a
Whoa.
Woodland player, but the Colts get on it at the 46-yard line, so they'll have great field position. And on the recovery that time, looked like it was Jose Galindo.
good job by Jose to realize that as a live ball and fall. How many times have we seen this year a kick go down and everybody just kind of stands and looks at it?
A few.
And we've seen it in the NFL, too. That's what really blows your mind. If you see it there, normally everybody figures it out. But, all right, here we go on Colts.
From the 46-yard line, Schaefer is the quarterback. They'll bring a player in motion. They will give it to Burns, and he's going to be taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Ramirez with the tackle for George. They'll mark him at the 42-yard line, so it'll be a loss of 4.
Well, it's not something we've seen a whole lot of, and we did not see it all in the first half of this game.
Four receivers for Schaefer. He's looking left side. He's got a player at the 50. That's Holzhauer. And he spins forward to the 47-yard line of George. That's a gain of 11, and it'll be 3rd down now and 3 for the Colts.
Well, they're selling out now. They're sending everybody they can to stop the run. And if it's not a run, they want to try to sack the quarterback. But, hey, down 13-0 in time running.
3rd down and 3. Need to get to the George 44-yard line. Schaefer keeps it himself. He's got the first down and more. Across the 40. Breaks a tackle at the 35. He's at the 20. The 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Woodland.
How about that? Great block by Ty Mattingly, too, on the left side that helped create that hole.
Schaefer's second touchdown run of the game. He also had a 55-yarder. That one went for 47. And the Colts will keep the offense on the field to go for 2. Terry checks in at running back. 4 receivers. Trying to make this a 21-point game. Schaefer gives it to Terry, running right side. Can he get to the corner? Yes, he can. 2-point try is good. And with 6:27 to play in the third quarter, Ironers score Woodland 21. George nothing. This is Woodland Football presented by Freedom 5-1 and Eagle Bank Mortgage. Mm. 6:27 to play third quarter. Woodland leads George 21-0 after a 47-yard touchdown run by Landon Schaefer.
Big plays.
Yeah, three
All three
long touchdown
touchdowns.
runs.
Yep.
Schaefer's got touchdown runs. That's a live ball.
Yeah.
And George falls on it.
That's one of the better onside kicks I've seen.
Yeah, it really was. That was actually a really nice kick.
No
That
bounce,
was-
just spinning along the ground there.
It was Xavier Engel on the recovery that time for George at the 49-yard line. Touchdown runs by Schaefer of 47 and 55 tonight, and of 80 by Tyree Terry. Terry also ran for the 2-point try. First down for George here from the 49. It's a direct snap to the running back. And Alexander Guevara gets 4 yards to the 47 of Woodland.
Well, they've had success with that play.
We've seen the last couple of weeks, Blair, where Woodland's defense has made really nice halftime adjustments to take away the run game that's been working for their opponent. It was the quarterback battles up at Fulbright a couple of weeks ago. Last week it was the quarterback for Kirksey. Here's Guevara, runs left side, and it'll be taken down after a gain of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, you're right, Matt. The coaches have done a phenomenal job making halftime adjustments. And what I really am impressed with this defense is when the opponent gets inside the red zone, they just seem to take it to another level defensively.
3rd down. Pounce, the quarterback, comes in from the sideline with the play. George needs to get to the Woodland 41. It's going to be a direct snap again. Guevara takes it again, runs up the middle, and he's not going to get the first down. Landon Holzhauer was in on the tackle for Woodland. Looked like Tidwell was also in. It was a gain of a yard, and now it's 4th down and 2.
They'll go for it. Well, they really have no choice, down 21. Just going to be a question of which way they want to run the big back.
And we haven't seen Ramirez or Guevara throw out of this formation yet, and so Woodland is pretty much selling out to stop the run. Guevara takes it, direct snap, runs right side. He's got a big hole at the 40, the 35, the 30, at the 25, breaks a tackle, still pulling players forward.
Wow.
And he's finally down at the 16-yard line. Gain of 27 on 4th down and 2.
Heck of a run. Schaefer wanted to lay a big lick on him.
Yeah.
But he slowed down just enough to throw the timing off. Normally a big guy like that doesn't shy away from contact. But it probably allowed him to pick up another 5 yards in doing so.
Now Ramirez will take the direct snap. He gets behind Guevara, and he's got a good gain of 3, maybe 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down. 3:10 to play 3rd quarter.
Well, Guevara was providing him a path, but he got about 3 or 4 feet in front of him.
Woodland leading 21-0.
And it's going to be important to keep them out of the end zone because of the various, you would imagine the score is going to be part of the scenario whether or not there's a championship game for Woodland.
Ramirez takes a low snap, runs right side, and he's going to be taken down from behind. Reed Slankard on the tackle. Tesmer and Tidwell also came in to finish him off. And now it's 3rd down. Under 2.5 to play in the 3rd quarter. Woodland leading 21-0.
This is where that Woodland defense gets mighty tough to move the ball against.
George is in the red zone for the 2nd time tonight. George fumbled it at the goal line in the 2nd quarter. And Tyree Terry took it 80 yards on the next play after a touchback. 3rd down. Now they'll move some players around, and that's going to be an illegal shift against the Wranglers.
Yeah, I really wish I had thought to keep the stat to see how teams fare against this defense in the red zone, because we haven't seen too many have success.
Seems like we've seen a lot of times where teams have turned it over against them too.
Yes.
Inside the red zone. Whether it be a fumble or an interception, they've made a lot of plays down here on this part of the field.
Turned him over, or just flat out stoned him.
So that penalty moves the ball back to the 18-yard line. It will be 3rd down and 11. George needs to get just past the 7. Pounders, the quarterback, looking left, now throws. That pass is intercepted. Right on cue, Charlie Graves from the 11 gets it back out to the 21-yard line. And Woodland with another big play in the red zone. And they're going to keep George off the scoreboard.
His receiver hadn't turned around, had no idea the pass was coming, and Charlie saw it coming and just stood his ground, made the catch.
Well, the Woodland defense made a sound smart there, making a play.
Yeah. Once again in the red zone.
Yeah. Can we go 2 for 2? Because it seems like after they've made a lot of these turnovers on this part of the field, they've gotten a big play on the next play. 2 receivers to the right side. Schaefer now brings a man in motion. And the ball hit Slankard, but the penalty flag comes out because it was a false start against the Colts. And that was actually a big break, I think, for Woodland.
Yes.
Because that was going to be probably about a 12 to 15-yard loss and a loss of downs. And because of the false start, it's only going to be 1st and 15. Clock runs, 1:17 to play 3rd quarter. 1st and 15 here for the Colts from their own 16-yard line. Schaefer looking over the middle, and that pass is intercepted. At the 22 and back to the 20-yard line, that was Alexander Guevara. So Woodland takes it away and then gives it right back.
Just was really not a good decision.
1:05 to play in the 3rd quarter. George will take over at the Woodland 20-yard line.
Just tried to force it in there. That's, that happens. That's all right. Now need the defense to rise up again.
It was Yair Ponce was the one who actually touched the pass first, and then it kind of ricocheted into Guevara's hands. And now George takes a timeout. 41 seconds to play 3rd quarter. It's 21-0 Colts. This is Woodland Football presented by Freedom 5-1 and Eagle Bank Mortgage.
2468, who has those competitive rates? Eagle Bank Mortgage. Call Dana Boring with Eagle Bank Mortgage to see if home ownership is right for you. NMLS 419384, equal housing lender. And Freedom 5-1, transforming the financial destinies of families with financial life coaching. Yes, financial life coaching. It is a very good idea. And Chris and Tom encourage you to visit their website, learn more about it, what exactly financial life coaching is and how it can help you. Go to freedom51.com. They're also on Facebook. You can visit them there. Well, they kind of tipped their hand that they were going to go with the Wildcat. We'll do it again.
And they
moved.
They moved, and there wasn't a flag. Guevara with the run up to the 15-yard line, and it'll be 2nd down and 5. We saw that with J. O'Kelly in the 7th grade game earlier. A couple of times they took off before the snap, and there wasn't a penalty. Same officiating crew for that game as this one.
Yeah, the coaches for Woodland are kind of
same Woodland coaches too.
Yeah, wondering, hey, we've seen that before. You can call it then. Why are you not? What's the deal? And George is content to just let the clock run out for the
5
quarter.
seconds on the 3rd quarter clock, and it will run out. And Woodland will take a 21-0 lead to the 4th quarter. It's been all Colts so far. This is Woodland Football, presented by Freedom 5-1 and Eagle Bank Mortgage. Getting ready to start the fourth quarter. George will have a 2nd down and 5 at the Woodland 15-yard line. It's a low snap. Guevara will run right side. He's got some room. A flag comes out. He's across the 10 and goes out of bounds inside the 5, but this is going to come back. This is going to be a hold, I believe, against George. It is a hold. And the flag was thrown behind the line of scrimmage, and so that's going to move George back on the other side of the 25-yard line.
That'll be a big penalty. Good for the Colts. And now it's going to be 2nd and 15. Yikes. Well, you know what they're going to do. Just got to stop it.
Varg runs right side and doesn't get much. Looked like Holzhauer was the one who came in and made the tackle. And now it's going to be 3rd down and long.
Good tackle. Just wrapped him up around the legs, brought him down. Easier said than done. A big guy like that gets those legs churning.
It'll be 3rd down and 12. George is at the Woodland 22, needs to get to the 10. This drive was set up by an interception that was returned to the Woodland 20-yard line. Ramirez will take the direct snap here. Starts left. Now they give it to Pounders, the quarterback. Now he's looking to throw toward the end zone, and he just overthrew his man by about 10 yards.
He had a man open, too, at the 3-yard line. Just kind of airmailed that throw.
Yeah, Ponce was the intended receiver for George, and now it's 4th and 12. They've been lining up Pounders as almost kind of a tight end H-back.
Mm-hmm.
That time they slipped him into the backfield. It was a nicely designed play call. He just was terribly inaccurate on the pass. 2 receivers left side, 1 to the right. Pounders in the shotgun formation on 4th and 12. George has to get to the 10. Woodland brings the pressure up the middle, and he lost the football. The ball's on the ground. It's scooped up by Woodland. This is Schaefer at the 40. Schaefer's got some room at the midfield, the 40, the 30, the 20, the 15, 10, and he's going to be taken down.
Well, he lost
at
the ball
4 by Ramirez. I think they're going to mark him down at the 4-yard line. Graves recovered it in the end zone.
I thought the ball came out before he came down, to be honest.
Yeah. That didn't look like the same Landon Schaefer that we've seen running down the field a couple of times tonight.
No.
Of course, Ramirez has got good speed, but he looked a little bit slower than he did on those touchdown runs.
Yeah, I think he was more worried about it didn't quite work out that way, but I think he was worried about protecting the ball. He knew he had somebody behind him, and I'm sure the teammates were telling him.
Well, it'll be 1st down and goal, though, for Woodland at the 4.
And another
Woodland, yeah, they have forced a turnover every time that George has gotten into the red zone tonight, all 3 times. Schaefer's got to get his breath. He's got both hands on his hips. And now the clock runs out, but Woodland takes a timeout before they're flagged for delay of game. 6:24 to play 4th quarter. Thank you tonight to Centennial Bank, Mellow Mushroom, and the Bank of Fayetteville for their sponsorships of our broadcast. Also thank you to Meredith Garman, Allison Slankert, Christy Plummer, and Sarah Kilpatrick for their work with the Spirit team.
Yep.
It is our understanding, Blair, in texting with some of the Woodland parents, that if Woodland wins this game tonight by 13 or more points, and if Grimsley wins tonight, I think they're playing Fulbright, then Woodland would be in the championship game next week.
And we would think that Grimsley would
We would think they would host that
be the
game.
host of that.
Of course, Grimsley won here 30-23 a few weeks back. It was a
Here we go. It's pretty complex, but if Woodland wins and get their max points, they should be in the championship game
Okay,
next week.
that comes from a school official. Anyway, so Grimsley won here 30-23 3 weeks ago. That game was a lot more lopsided than the final score showed. They give it to Burns up the middle, touchdown Woodland. Xavier Burns hit that hole hard.
Touchdown Woodland.
And with 6:19 to play, the Colts have gone ahead by 4 scores.
Well, you would think they would be pretty close to max points now.
Yeah.
See
That Grimsley team,
they were huge.
they are huge. They were huge. I don't know that I've ever seen a team leave and George jumps off sides, and so
the entire left side.
yeah. I think Woodland will decline the penalty.
Yeah, we've seen some teams on Friday nights that weren't as big
Weren't
as
as big
that
as that.
Grimsley
Nope.
team.
Nope.
And that's no exaggeration.
I mean, they're huge.
Yeah.
Anyway, Grimsley plays its home games at Bentonville West over in Centerton. So I think that's where that game would be played, assuming that Grimsley remains undefeated. And I'll tell you, Blair, there's nothing that I've seen this year that would suggest that Grimsley would lose a game to Fulbright this year.
Yeah. You wouldn't think so, but you never know. When you know Woodland would love another crack at him.
Yeah. The thing we mentioned is Novice kicks that one through by a good bit. And it's 28-0 Woodland. We'll stay right here with 6:19 left. The thing I've seen in that game, though, 3 weeks ago when they played Grimsley was that they didn't give up. They got down by a lot of points, and they continued to play really hard in the second half of that game. And I really thought that benefited them the next week whenever they went to Fulbright and had to have, another hard-fought victory.
Yes.
Beat Fulbright in overtime that night.
Yeah. It'd be a heck of a matchup. Well, it appears everything is setting up for that, but we've still got 6:19 to go. So we'll see if I've texted our source what the score is, hoping to maybe get a reply of. The question is what the max points. I would think they've got to be close if they don't have it already.
But I've been saying Fulbright and Grimsley. Actually, Fulbright's not playing Grimsley tonight.
That's still a live ball.
Yeah, Ramirez takes it from the end zone. It should be a touchback.
Yes, it is.
And so they'll get the ball at the 20.
Side judge, you got to get down there and make sure spot it. Well, Grimsley can't find their schedule.
I know that Fulbright's playing Lakeside
Yep.
and Sonora tonight.
So
First down for George from the 20-yard line. $6:19 to play. Woodland leading 28-0. A little inside run goes for a few yards to Ramirez. It'll be second down. Looks like Slankard was the one who made the tackle for Woodland.
Reed Slankard and Isaac Smith made the tackle.
well, since George is kind of meticulous on offense, that helps as well. That's going to eat a lot of clock.
Pounders, low snap, and he just has to fall down on it at the 20.
They're starting to have problems with that snap,
Fumble on the snap.
or
Recovered by
Pounders primarily.
It'll be third down and 10 for George. Under 5.5 minutes to play. We will be back here at Harmon Field tomorrow night for a 7A West matchup between the Fayetteville Purple Dogs and the Rogers Heritage War Eagles. Kickoff at 7. Be on the air at 6:50. So the new quarterback. Give it up the middle across the 30. They got a first down run out to the 35.
Don't let off the gas, defense.
Xavier McDowell is the new quarterback. Ramirez with the first down run out to the 36. It was a gain of 16.
Nothing like a Friday night at Harmon Field.
Fayetteville with the big win over Springdale last week, 48-13. They give it here to Alexander Guevara. He just runs over a defender and gets out to the 39-yard line. That was Ty Mattingly was the one who was run over, but he slowed him down enough. I tell you got to give him some credit for staying in there and taking that kind of hit.
Knowing it's coming?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Guevara's a really good running back. He's a little bit bigger than you would expect to have the kind of speed he has, but it's a pretty good combination that he's got going on. Ramirez running right side, and Patterson's going to take him down back behind the line of scrimmage at the 38-yard line.
Well, he's been their most effective running back by far. Pounders will make his way back onto the field.
It'll be 3rd down and 8 for George. Clock runs under 3:40 to play. Pounders back in the quarterback. Got to get to the 46-yard line. Pounders throwing down the middle. That pass is caught. He caught it off the deflection.
Wow.
What a catch.
I thought for sure that was going to be an interception.
Jesus Garcia with the reception. Clark, I think, got his hands on it, and it went right into the hands of Garcia. It was underthrown a little bit. Pounders had to get rid of it because Woodland was coming up the middle pretty quick.
They've done a good job of harassing him all night in the pocket.
18-yard gain, first down. Pounders in the shotgun. Gives it to Ramirez, runs right side, and he runs out of bounds across the 40-yard line. They'll mark him out at the 38.
Somebody lost a helmet.
It was Cooper Clark who made the tackle.
So he'll come off. Well, they're getting a little momentum here. We'd like to keep him out of the end zone if all possible.
2nd down and 3. 2:48 to play. Woodland is going to improve tonight to 8-1. Question is whether or not the Colts can notch another shutout. They run left side. Guevara, look at him go across the 30. Being chased from behind at the 20, and Ty Mattingly takes him down at the 16-yard line.
Great tackle by Ty. Boy, he gets in open space. He goes.
There's that old picture, Blair, from the Powder River play between Arkansas and Ole Miss where Preston Carpenter's running down the sideline. You see an Ole Miss player literally jumping with his feet off the ground after him. Of course, he didn't tackle him, but that's kind of what Ty looked like right there. Ramirez with the run up the middle gets to the 10. It'll be 2nd down and 6. It's always a little bit of a gamble whenever you leave your feet.
Yes.
But he made it work.
All right, let's see if they can force another turnover in the red zone.
2nd and 6. Ramirez runs right side. He's got a good hole across the 5, and he's swung around to the 1-yard line. It'll be 1st down and goal from there.
Well, that was kind of weird. Everybody kind of stopped except the running back.
It's worth noting that there are a lot of backups in at this point for Woodland. Landon Schaefer.
Yeah, the Colts
standing
are
down here on the sideline.
Woodland
also
takes
Charlie
the timeout.
Graves. Patterson's on the sideline. They're playing a lot of backups on this series, so
yeah, and
I think it's more important
to get guys off the field too.
I guess it seems like it's more important for Woodland to get players experience than to keep the shutout intact.
Yeah, which is really, in big picture, that is more important. And I would assume the coaches know that they're pretty well entrenched in with the max points. So, hey, let's And that's the great thing, like we mentioned in the 7th grade game. They do a really good job of getting as many kids in as they can. It's not like that everywhere.
Yeah, as we see Woodland's defense take the field, I don't see one starter out there
Nope.
for the Colts at this point. Whereas for George, it's still the entire starting 11,
Yes.
including those 2 running backs, Ramirez and Guevara, who are lined up to take a direct snap here. It's Guevara, runs it up the middle, and he's in. George scores its first touchdown with 1:52 to play in the 4th quarter. Turner Robinson hit him but couldn't bring him down before he crossed the goal line. And you talk about needing to win this game by a certain amount of points. You just think about all the plays that Woodland's defense made in the red zone and how important that was to the final score of this game. Look at Guevara go in, knocks over his lineman from behind.
Wow.
Well, he's one to watch in the future.
Definitely.
These George players, they'll feed into the Springdale High School team.
Everybody
We
could
saw
use
Springdale.
a big back like that.
Yeah. We saw Springdale the other night. They could use some more talent on that team. It's amazing to think about how far Springdale has fallen.
Yeah, it's kind of depressing considering where they were and
Oh, yeah.
for so long. But that's kind of shifted over to Harbor.
Right. Well, what we've seen, I think, Blair, in Springdale and in Rogers was just how valuable the one high school system was to their success before the split. I mean, here's an onside kick that Woodland will recover at the 49-yard line, and the Colts will take over with 1:52 to play. You think about Rogers, the year before they split, Rogers Mounties played in the state championship game and lost on a last-second field goal to Fort Smith Southside. That was their first loss of the year. That was a great Rogers team, maybe the greatest team that Rogers High School ever had. And now, since they split, Heritage and Rogers High struggle most years.
Yes.
And in Springdale, Harbor's been able to have success most years, but Springdale High has really, really struggled since the split. But the last game before the split for Springdale High was when the Springdale 5 won the state championship with Mitch Mustaine and that group. Charlie Garton runs right side and is taken down for a big loss back at the 41-yard line. George is going to take a timeout.
And Harbor only had the JV team that year. They could have had a varsity team, but they didn't want to split up that 05 team, so they let them continue on maybe a year longer than they should have. But
it was always my understanding that Gus Malzahn was going to go to Harbor the next year, and that Chris Wood was probably going to get the Springdale High School job. Then, of course, Malzahn gets the offense coordinator job for the Razorbacks. Chris Wood is
moved
hired
over
at
to
Harbor, and Kevin Johnson was hired at Springdale High. And Kevin Johnson had Springdale High playing well for a few years after the split. For about the last 10 years or so, they've been a pretty down program.
yeah, they haven't had the numbers. But from what we've seen this year, the Purple Dog program is going to be in good shape for some years to come. They've got talent coming up the pipeline.
I liked what we saw from Ramey in that game several weeks ago. Kilpatrick is the quarterback. On 2nd and long, it's a high snap. Caden will run it all the way. Goes right side, breaks the tackle, gets across the 45, and runs out of bounds at the 48-yard line.
Good hard run. I almost wonder if we might not see Ramey Woodland 7th grade next week for a championship game. Well, no, it's on the road, though, isn't it? That'd be kind of fun.
Of course, the Grimsley Woodland 7th grade game was a pretty darn good one. That's the one where Charlie Garden ran for about a 57-yard touchdown in the final minute. And that gave Woodland the victory. Garden is in the shotgun on 3rd down and 11. Charlie almost falls down, and he's going to have to slide down now at the 46.
Charlie Garden on the keeper.
Clock running, 1:04 to play.
Junior Claire.
Woodland up 28-8. The Colts will punt the ball away here, but they'll run the clock down, I'm sure, to where George gets this back with the minimum amount of time possible.
Jackson Tessmer.
It'd almost be worth it just to take the 5-yard penalty.
Xavier McDowell will be deep.
Run as much clock as possible.
10 on the play clock, about a 25-second differential between the play clock and the game clock. It's a high snap. Jackson Tessmer punts it away. It's a good punt. And it's going to be fielded by Xavier McDowell, and he's not going to get anything.
Good coverage. Good coverage.
Xavier McDowell on the
17 seconds to play. Robley on the tackle that time for Woodland. The Colts need to make one, maybe two more stops, and they're going to get out of here with a 8-1 regular season record.
George just called timeout.
So, again, we kind of apologize, too, for not knowing exactly what all the scenarios are, but as it was told to us, it's kind of complicated the way that this all works. But basically, we believe that Woodland is going to get to play in the conference championship game next week, likely against Grimsley Junior High School in Bentonville.
The rematch
Yeah.
for the championship. That'll be fun.
Well, we haven't seen every team in Northwest Arkansas play. You know, they didn't play everybody
True.
from Rogers. They didn't play everybody from Bentonville. Didn't play everybody from Springdale. But from the teams that we did see, I haven't seen two teams better than Woodland this year.
No.
And you got to feel like the Colts should be able to play for a championship because they've been very good.
Yes.
gonna play.
They've won some pretty hard-fought games, too. We mentioned the Fulbright game that kind of stands out to me was Week 3 against Central,
Against Woodland.
when Woodland scored a fourth-quarter touchdown and won that game 6-0.
Yep. 30-23 was the final of that Grimsley game.
Xavier McDowell being pressured from behind, throws it up. The pass is incomplete.
Okay. Jack Pander's pass intended for Alexis Ramirez. Pass was incomplete.
Like Holzhauer was back in coverage.
Broken up by
And
Landon
deflected it.
Holzhauer.
11 seconds to play.
Coach is telling everybody, don't let anybody get behind you. Keep them in front of you.
Woodland began the year with a 5-0 record. Lost the game to Grimsley, and they've won 3 straight. That goes
Whoa.
through McDowell's legs. He has to go back and fall on it inside the 15-yard line. And unless George takes a timeout, that's how the game will end. 28-8 is our final. And the Woodland Colts will finish the regular season with an 8-1 record.
Springdale George regulars 8.
And only one loss here at Harmon Field, too.
Like to thank all our
Another
visitors.
impressive showing by the Colts.
And hope everyone
And that big play capability came up huge tonight. The defense forced 3 turnovers in the red zone.
3 turnovers after George had entered the red zone. Again, final score tonight, Woodland 28, George 8. We appreciate you being with us. For Blair Cartwright, I'm Matt Jones. Good night, everybody.